pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. This is a friendly celebration.
I don't much like the way you celebrate.
How's everything in Florida?
Everything's good. We're getting through our first and only week of winter. Ends tomorrow morning, so we start warming up again. So it's good.
You've had it, huh?
Yeah.
I told you about our first week in Vero Beach was a snow.
Yeah, you got snowed on. Yeah. Thought you're in the wrong place, right?
I thought I turned in too early.
Yeah, I understand.
Did you get a new car?
No, it's good. I have that up there to remind me to. I'm going to give you guys a little quiz about your personal experiences with automobiles, and so that kind of reminds me of what I'm going to talk about a little bit. But I want to get into you, and especially you and Jeff, to see what your take is on the. You hear me okay?
Yeah.
What your take is on Savannah Guthrie's mother's kidnapping, and what you're hearing locally versus what we're hearing nationally across the country. So I really wonder how Nanos is really doing, or is he just totally fumbling the football? So
It's hard to tell.
I mean, they had the crime tape up, and then they took it all down. Then they threw it all back up again when they said the feds were coming to town. So, and I thought after the Lindbergh kidnapping that the FBI automatically takes over all kidnapping cases.
I was under the impression that they were only involved in interstate kidnappings, but I could be wrong. I remember that I know after the Lindbergh kidnapping, the FBI got hyper busy in those things, but somewhere I read that that the FBI only operates on interstate. In other words, as a bridge between states.
Yeah. Or if they've taken them across state lines.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, transported the victim. Anyway, I've heard some things this morning that I'm going to ask you some questions about that, because see if what you guys have heard. So, and then we'll get into some other political stuff. So how was your week? Okay.
I got my Jeep back.
Oh, you did? Is it working all right?
Well, it's working okay. What happened was, I think I told you they told me they couldn't get the part for 4 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they took one out of another car.
Well, no, they put the old one back in. I'm just driving it now, and it's working.
Reprogrammed it or no?
No, they ain't. No, it's just like it was when I drove it in there. But they've ordered another one, a new one or a refurbished one, and they'll call me when it gets in. But I told the guy, I don't want to sit around here for 4 months with no car. So put my old one back in, and I'll drive it, and I'll just, if the engine quits, I'll pull over to the side of the road and wait like I did the last time. Yeah. But I don't want to not have a car for 4 months. So that's what it is.
Good afternoon, Jeff.
Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Got early allergies for some reason, so forgive me as I sniffle. But I guess it is what it is.
It's Zyrtec D time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the good stuff. So we were talking about, you didn't hear Paul's story unless you watched the program from last week. He's been having trouble with his Jeep, so
Oh,
trying to get it fixed, and they had to order a part, and they told him it'd be here in 4 months, and
oh my gosh.
so they put the old power control module. They put the old part back in, and he says he's driving it now. And tell him what happens when it quits, Paul, or what it's doing.
Well, this is when I'm on cruise control, and I want to accelerate, and it drops down into the next lower gear. The engine dies. Plunk.
Oh,
I mean, it doesn't slow
yeah.
down. It doesn't stagger. It just goes to zero. And if I'm passing somebody and I hit the gas too hard and it drops down a gear, it'll do that. And one time I was just driving down the highway and hit a bump and the engine quit. And it did that 8 times on my 4,000-mile trip to Mississippi and back.
That is dangerous.
Oh yeah, it is. It's kind of scary when it happens, especially if you're in traffic, because then you got to find a way to
Yes.
pull over. And it just teaches you to drive in either the inside lane or the outside lane, but not in the middle lanes.
Well, that wouldn't have been good if that happened in one of your helicopters in Vietnam.
No, that would have been a really downer. I was very fortunate. I never had an engine failure in 5,000 hours of flying, and then I had
Wow.
4 of them in 4,000 miles of driving. So
Isn't that something?
yeah,
That is crazy. What year is it, Paul?
it's 13.
Yeah. Well, I think it's time to trade that thing in.
Yeah, that's
Well,
what I
he's
told him, Jeff.
I like
He's
it.
much more patient than I am.
Yeah. No, that's
Well, let me
yeah.
just tell you, I walked out to the lot while I was at the dealer at the service dealers there, and the first one I looked like that was just like mine, a Wrangler Sport, was $42,000,
Yeah.
and that's not in my Social Security budget.
I get it. I get it. But, we'd miss having you here on 4 Minute America, Paul.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah,
look good in the Green Valley News to say Paul Fitch survived, 4 tours in Nam and got hit on the Green Valley Turnpike.
Yeah, well, I would just be one of many
Yeah.
on Highway 19 there.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you guys this week, and I think Ken's going to be on. I don't know if he's not. So I put this car up on the picture there. That's a Ferrari 308 GT 308, and of course that's Magnum PI's car, right? I was always in love with that car. If I could own any car in the world, I wanted to have one of those.
That
Right?
is so.
So, but that's what I want to ask you guys first is, and I'll start with Paul, is what kind of car did you drive in high school, if you had a car? And the second question is, what kind of car would you like to own if you could have any car in the world? So,
Okay, well,
have any car in the world. So,
okay, well, the first one's pretty easy. In high school, my older brother had purchased a 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air 4-door automatic
there you go.
transmission,
Classic, right?
six-cylinder.
Classic
Yeah.
Chevy.
As long as I paid for the gas. So my first job was working in a gas station on Sundays from noon to 6 o'clock for a tank of gas. That's what I got paid, was a tank of gas. I got to fill up the
Hey,
car,
cool. Yeah.
and I've learned some valuable stuff. And I found out the car would go 20 miles an hour faster with the retreads on it than it did with the old tires, but still wasn't very fast. But what would I have in a car?
If you
I
could have
don't
any car
know.
in the world, what would you like to? Yeah, what would you like to have?
That's an interesting thought. My favorite car was a '73 Riviera.
Yeah.
I fell in love with that, and that was I've been sorry many times that I traded that in, but
Mm.
it was a beautiful car, and it performed well on the highway. It was the old they'll pass anything but a gas station, but
Yeah.
but it was a great riding car at highway speeds. So I don't know. get another 73 Riviera, I guess.
I had an AMC Eagle 4-wheel drive.
Oh,
One
wow.
one step up from the Pinto because it was 4-wheel drive. Had a big glass back hatch. And
What year was it?
oh boy, it must have been late 70s
Yeah,
model,
because
78,
yeah, yeah, okay.
77 AMC
Okay.
Eagle. And to tell you what kind of a hick town I'm from, and it's really not. It's really built up lately, but we live right on the James River one day, and our house would get flooded, and we woke up one day in a 1.5 mile dirt driveway, a lot of rain, and sometimes you couldn't get all the way down the driveway. You'd have to wheelbarrow groceries in through the woods and everything, and serious business. I mean, like we'd pull up to the school parking lot with just mud drenched and just pouring down off our car. But one day we woke up and the whole house was surrounded like a moat with water. And we kept the cars up the driveway about 1/4 mile because we knew it could flood. And we had the John boat and a canoe by the front porch so we could get in and canoe out to dry land and walk up to the shores. Anyway, we were running late. And I was like, Dad, Mr. Potes, who was the principal, he is going to be ticked. We are always late. He knows we have a 1.5 mile driveway. He knows we get stuck in the mud. Sometimes the trees would fall over if we had a storm. So I'd carry a chainsaw in the back of the AMC to cut my way out. But anyway, I was late for school again that morning because we had to boat out to the cars and all this. And I said, Dad, I'm going to get in trouble. So he took a Polaroid picture of the water all around the house. And, he thought that would be a good excuse. And so I drive up to there and I'm late. And Mr. Potes is there just shaking his head like, which boy's late again. And I showed him the Polaroid. I said, Mr. Potes. Now he was a good old boy, raccoon hunter, had coon dogs and all this stuff, a very deep Southern accent. And I said, look, we got up and all this. He goes, boy, that is not an excuse. You know what we had to do in my day? You hear
Oh,
about
yeah.
how.
Oh, yeah.
And in the end, he said, I should remember the Boy Scout motto of be prepared. And I was like, we were prepared, but he did not give me an excuse tardy. And, so that's kind of the
There you
story.
go.
But that AMC Eagle it did get me through the mud a lot of times, but it would get stuck. We'd have to go. We had an old beat up Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee,
Mhm.
that was a little better with the mud. And when that didn't work, the biggest thing we had was a Jeep CJ5, or was it a CJ7? I can't remember, but my brother had it jacked up with the big tires
Tires.
on there.
Yeah.
And sometimes that would be the only thing that would get us in and out of that driveway.
There you go. Yeah. That's the kind they use in those. You ever seen those mud races? They
Yes,
drive
yeah, yeah.
those.
No, he
They
did the mud bog with that and everything else, had a
Yeah,
winch in the
driving through
front.
a mud hole. It's
But he
crazy.
got rid of that when he was trying, on a high school budget, trying to run
Yeah.
that thing is not very good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well,
But
I was blessed by my grandfather with a night. I'm sorry, you got to tell us what kind of car you'd like to own. What would you
well,
want to?
I was always a Mustang fan, but I was
Yeah.
also an Elvis fan, and he rode, one of his movies. He was in one of those Corvettes, 60 something Corvettes in one of his movies. And so I thought somewhere around the 65 to 67 Corvette would be kind of fun, or the
Yeah.
67, 68 Mustang fastback.
Mustang. Hey, just to let you know, Patty's daughter's husband refurbishes as part time or on the side. He refurbishes Cobra Mustangs.
Is that right?
Yeah, rebuilds them. So if you ever want to buy one, um, we'll hook you up, and you can see if you want to buy one of his, because
Yeah,
he
no,
fixes
I
them up, and yeah, just like
apparently
new. I
there's
mean, brand new paint job and everything, brand new
well,
engine.
I where's he out of?
He's in Tucson.
Oh gosh. So
Yeah.
I need to see him.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you'd love to go over. They have like an RV garage, but he uses it to put his Mustangs in. So he's got
Well,
three or
I'd
four
love
of
to
them in a
see him.
garage. Yeah.
Apparently there is a company somewhere in the United States that bought the plans from Ford of the 1965 to 67 Mustang.
Mm,
And they build them brand new, okay, and put all modern stuff in. But they look, and I've never seen one on the road,
yeah.
but apparently they're like $250,000, but you
Wow.
can
Yeah.
buy them. It's out of my budget and it's out of Paul's retirement budget as well. But Don, that might be right in your neck of the woods there as a
No, no,
retired
that's
engineer, you know?
I want to have one. I want to have that Ferrari. That
Yeah.
308 Ferrari. I love that car, and I used to watch Magnum all the time, and it's a good looking car. Now in high school, I had my grandfather blessed me with a 1957 Ford.
Hmm.
I think it was I think the engine was a 314 or something like that. It was
Hmm.
a V8, so stick shift. So yeah, it was great. Great car. Lasted through high school into college. So
That is neat.
it was used and gray, and I think it was gray and white hood. You know, they used to paint them two-tone, right? So white hood, white top, and gray, had a gold line along the side with the gray on the bottom. So yeah,
Well, back in
good
those
car.
days, the hoods were pretty high. My dad
Yeah.
would have been 84 this year. He passed when he was 60, so he was young.
Mm,
But
yeah.
he said the difference between the modern cars and the old cars is the height of the hood because they used to shoot off the top of the hood, their rifles. And he
Hmm.
said before too long, the hood got too low and you'd shoot off the roof. And so that was kind
That's
of the
interesting.
difference.
And
Yeah.
the steering wheels back then were huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were bigger steering wheels. Remember, people used to put that knob on the steering wheel that spun
Yeah. Yeah.
so they could turn the wheel easier. But yeah, it's changed quite a bit. My grandmother was only 4'10", and she could barely see over the dashboard driving a car. Barely. Yeah.
She
Between
saw
the
all
steering,
hood.
I think she saw right underneath the steering wheel. She was looking at the road, right?
Don, I'd recommend, I'll bet you could find that Ferrari for a bargain somewhere.
Could be, yeah.
And
His original, the one he drove on the set, and when he made the TV show, sold for 228,000 at an auction.
wow.
I mean, that was his original one, but they used every year they kind of upgraded. They used the 308 model until they stopped building it up through the years of his show. I was reading about it this morning, and
Hmm.
and so the newer ones were a little bit faster than the older ones, and
Oh,
you know,
sure.
yeah,
You know,
but
those
they're
Ferraris, there's a Netflix documentary or some, I don't know if it's Netflix for sure, showing how they make the Ferraris now in Italy,
yeah,
and handmade, and it's beautiful. I mean, they have a
oh yeah,
beautiful product.
oh yeah, yeah, and you know, you do you know? Are you familiar with Ducati superbikes?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Ducati is an Italian-made
Right. Motorcycle.
superbike. It's
Yeah.
like the Ferrari of superbikes, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I have a
Yeah.
buddy who owns one. Yes.
You know what they start? You know what they started? They made radios before World War II. That company made radios,
Hmm.
and then the Nazis took them over in World War II and made them make electronics for the Nazi war machine, right?
Hmm.
Radios and stuff. And then after the war, they started making motorized bicycles. Remember
Yeah. Yeah.
the old moped? It was
Yeah.
like the old moped, but it was a motorized bicycle. Then that's how they got into motorcycles after the war. So they
Hmm.
didn't originally make motorcycles.
And
So
now they do Moto Guzzi's. I swam with a guy from Italy in college, And all of us were driving motorcycles, think we were cool, and he'd have this little
Mhm.
Moto Guzzi with his dorky looking helmet, but he thought he was the coolest thing on that thing. And I was just like, man, that don't look right over here. Maybe in Italy, but they still drive those in Italy all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I had an Italian Vespa in high school. It was a hand-me-down from my brother, but
Hmm.
he got it stolen when he had it, and
Mm.
they recovered it, but it had all the good stuff taken. The windshield and everything was taken off of it, was stripped. So I got the stripped down version, but it
Well,
was a
the
nice
thing,
little scooter.
I just had this talk with somebody that, would you rather have things or do things, Don
Yeah.
and Paul? And so even if I had the money to get one of those supercars that I've always wanted,
Hmm.
there's two things. Would I really buy it anyway?
Right.
Or would I want the money to do things? And if I did buy it, would I feel comfortable driving it? And
Yeah.
as a capitalist, I'm just like, come on, do it. But it's also kind of like,
Yeah.
uh,
Well,
I I just
think about the insurance.
yeah,
Would you want to insure it, right? I
yeah.
mean, yeah, that's the other thing too. They'd be so expensive to drive,
When
Yeah.
I was in Vietnam, I was on my way home, and GM and Ford and Chrysler all had booths at the PX in Long Binh, and you could
Mm,
go in and order your car and have it
wow.
delivered. Okay, so I was hot for a Buick GS 400 convertible, bucket
Mm,
seats, 4 speed, the big engine, the 400 cubic inch engine. So I called USAA as a young officer in the military, and I said, I want to borrow some money to buy this car. And they said, okay, da, 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 da. And you said your payments will be about $120 a month. And I said, well, I can afford that. I'm a warrant officer, and I was making almost $800 a month at that time, so I figured I had plenty of margin in there. And I said, okay, and I probably want to insure it. And he said, oh yeah, sure, we'd be glad to do that. That'll be about $125 a month
Yeah.
because you're under 25 years old, single, and the car's considered a muscle car. And I immediately realized that my future was going to be a GS 350 hardtop with a small engine, automatic transmission, and a bench seat
Yes.
because the
Yeah.
insurance would have killed me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finances are, yeah, there
And
you go.
and what is the Ford higher level? It's a Cobra, but who builds those or who? It's the
The
Ford
Shelby,
versus Ferrari. Shelby.
The
Yeah.
Shelby.
So
Yeah. Shelby.
yeah,
Yeah.
so a Ford Shelby,
Yeah.
remake would kind of be the
There
top
you
of the
go.
line.
Oh,
Yeah.
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 Mary,
Those
Mary
Shelbys
Margaret's a
were,
big Mustang fan.
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'll get you guys in touch with Patty's daughter's husband, and
Oh, I'd love to
he
go.
loves to show him off. I mean, he really
Oh
likes to
yeah.
show him off. So yeah,
We got to have
we'll do that.
goals, Don. We got to
Yeah,
have goals.
you just have to be careful because they're Democrats. So
Okay.
no
Well,
politics.
maybe he's not a capitalist then, and he'll give me a really good deal. Like,
There you
hey,
go.
you know,
That might be. There you
yeah,
go. Yeah. So
the
well, I don't see
comrade
Ken.
discount.
Yeah, I don't see Ken chiming in there. So I can ask you guys. The other question I have is, have you been keeping up with the kidnapping in Tucson? And what do you think about the performance of the Pima County Sheriff and Nanos, and where are they at? Are they totally bungling the thing, or are they doing a good job, or is there any way to know? What's the local press saying about it? Because I'm hearing, I'm just watching the national stuff being released. So what's going on there?
What do you think, Jeff?
Well, it really is hard to know if they're doing a good job or not, just because they could be holding the cards tight because they have leads, or I think it's going to take a while to really know if they're doing a good job. So I really don't know, but I did listen to what Brandon Tatum had to say about it as a former Tucson Police Department officer. And also my wife at Inside, my wife from the very beginning, of course, was, it's an inside job. It had to be somebody that knew her and this to be able to target her.
Yeah.
But Brandon Tatum really thinks, and I don't know if there's any evidence of this, that it's a family member. And but I thought it was really interesting to see that somebody not related to the kidnapping was trying to get Bitcoin out of the Guthrie family,
Yeah.
saying, send it to me. They don't have anything to do with it. But I thought, man, that is a good scam right there. Of course, they're going to get arrested but it is kind of I really was suspicious that it could have been the cartels, but I don't think it is at this point because, that is kind of the MO down in Mexico of,
Oh,
of
yeah, sure.
kidnapping. And I was
Yeah.
just saying, man, I hope that's not coming to America because that is really bad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So how much is the FBI involved now? Are they down there and helping the Pima County
I
Sheriff
think they
or
are. I think they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Paul that I thought after the Lindbergh kidnapping years and years ago that the FBI took over all kidnapping cases, but he thought it was an interstate thing um, that determined that. So I don't know. And then we heard here they
That's
said, well, they put up a bunch of crime tape, and then they took it all down, and then a day later they put all a bunch of crime tape back up when they heard the feds were coming. So
hmm.
interesting. But what have you heard, Paul?
Well,
Anything
just
you?
I don't know how much difference there was between what I've heard and the national because what I hear on the local news sounds like just what happened on the national news. But the FBI agent in charge of this operation, and I didn't catch his name, but he said we're here to help the sheriff and we're here to give him all the support we can. And so it sounded like he wasn't taking the lead on it. He was going to let the sheriff's department run it. And that's all I really have been able to figure out. And then they've covered the same things you have.
Yeah.
There was one thing about the son-in-law, Ann Guthrie's husband, that's Savannah's sister, and Ann brought her home, and then there was some issue about somebody's thought that maybe he had something to do with it. No, not a he's not he hasn't been pinpointed by the sheriff's department as a person of interest. That was just a thought that I read or saw somewhere. So I don't know. Jeff's concerned about the cartels and kidnapping for ransom. They live up in the foothills, and I think they said her house was worth $1 million. So I guess there's probably money in the family, and but that's an odd. It's an odd. If I were going to kidnap somebody, I wouldn't kidnap somebody who had national prominence. I'd kidnap somebody who had rich family, but wouldn't get the spotlight across the whole country because then you got too
Yeah.
many people looking for you. And I think the Guthries have put up a $25,000 reward or something like that already, and that may grow. So I don't know. It's just unusual for somebody in Tucson to be kidnapped like that. I haven't heard
Yeah.
of other kidnappings of that
Yeah.
nature here.
Right. Now her house is fairly isolated. I assume it's up there between Oro Valley and the city, right?
No, it's
Sort of
up by
on
Skyline and Campbell.
Skyline.
Yeah.
Okay, Skyline and Campbell. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like they were driving back in there in that around that territory from the video I saw. And I also heard that when she was interviewed or she was reading a statement, Savannah Guthrie, I guess is her name, the
Hmm.
daughter.
Yeah.
She when she was reading a statement, she sort of read like they weren't familiar with the kidnapping demands or the notes or
Hmm.
whatever. But this guy says that they were given there's been three written demands handed them.
Hmm.
So, and then he also said that she said they wanted proof of life and they didn't trust, almost like they had seen a video and they didn't trust it because it could have been AI and may not have been her mother's voice, her real voice. So,
Hmm.
normally when you show proof of life, the typical thing is to show up, hold up a newspaper, right, with a date on it,
Right.
a current newspaper, and say, yeah, they're, let the victim hold that up there, and that proves they're, at least at that time, they were still alive. It's the same day. So anyway, that's the things we're hearing here.
Well,
So,
the joke in my family, and it's not probably a very politically correct joke, but my mom is a very liberal Democrat, and she is a wonderful woman until you get to politics, and she's ruthless. But she does like to talk, and we were just laughing like, man, they take my mom. They're gonna return her quickly because
they're gonna pay you to take her back, huh?
she's gonna lambast. Then she would not hold back on just about anything. So, and
light
she
'em
is
up.
that same age too, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, I understand. There would be some people that ornery enough that you wouldn't want.
no, she is ornery. There is no
Yeah.
doubt about that.
Okay.
I'm surprised you couldn't convert her, Jeff.
No, despite all my efforts, no, she is stuck. But she's heartfelt in what she believes. But I really have learned a lot from her of the liberal mindset. And I shouldn't say liberal mindset, and she is very liberal in certain ways, but and leftist in other ways. And just being a liberal is not a bad thing if it's more of a traditional liberal.
John
Uh,
Locke liberal,
which-
yeah.
yeah, but and in most of her things, because she is very patriotic, and yet, you can say if A equals B and B equals C, A equals C. And you can take her and others to a certain point and say, okay, if you believe all these things, like, a baby is a baby in the womb, and it's not vital to the come. And you go through all that, and yet, okay, I still believe in abortion, or it just doesn't something's missing there, I think, because she loves her country, but why is she okay with the anti-ICE things, and believes in a border, but it just kind of to me it doesn't make sense. It's not rational. So
A lot of disconnects. Yeah,
yes,
I hear you. So, yeah, I wanted to ask you guys about the, we actually have regular order in place now. They actually did pass all of the budget bills. And that last package had the last 5 bills in it. Now, you heard about this 2-week thing going on, and what that's about is, although the big beautiful bill funded ICE for the next 3 years, which apparently the Democrats missed when they read the bill. The part that's going to get hurt in this next 2 weeks are the Coast Guard, FEMA, and TSA. They're the ones that aren't going to. They're the ones that are kind of hanging out there. So, other than that, I guess we have to give Congress credit for doing something that we weren't sure they could do. What did we rate that on our scale of getting things done? We gave them a 1.25 to get a real budget. So, but they did it. So, we got to give them kudos for doing that.
we do.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's not
that's-
all
that's-
done yet. There's still
Oh,
some
no.
things hanging out,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But I do
And,
give them credit for getting a lot done. Yes.
Yeah. So let me ask this. Had you guys ever heard of a zombie filibuster?
Not till the other day.
Did you ever hear that term?
No.
I had never heard that term. Well, that's
I had
where
not.
what that is, and I don't know if you've heard that the last few days or not, Jeff. I guess
I
Paul's
haven't.
heard about it. It's where you don't even have to be present to do a filibuster. They've let these
Well,
senators
well, that's
offer
the
an
normal-
opposition.
well,
Yeah, that's what they call
Yeah.
a zombie filibuster. Instead
Okay,
of
I
getting
haven't
down and
heard that.
preaching on the
yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
haven't heard that as a zombie, but that's become the norm.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
become the norm.
And they're trying to get Thune is working to drop the zombie filibuster.
Okay.
That
Well, good.
if a senator's going to filibuster, he has to get on the floor of the Senate and argue as to what his problem is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's
So,
one step in the right direction.
yeah, it's a little bit of headway. I didn't know if you guys heard that or not. I had
Well,
never heard the term zombie filibuster.
that's what Hakeem Jeffries did. Didn't he do a 24-hour filibuster? It wasn't a filibuster because he's in the House, but he
Yeah.
did a
No, I
24-hour
think that
speech.
was the guy from California did it. Not Swalwell, but the senator from California.
Yeah, it was
The guy that is
shifty,
just,
shifty shift,
oh goodness, the most
shifty
difficult
shift.
person in the whole Senate to really sit and listen to, you know.
Yeah, you
Oh,
got that right. Yeah. Yeah, he's a
yeah.
senator by default, right? He took
Yeah.
Feinstein place, I think. Yeah, he is a problem child there. So we've had 9 arrests in the church invasion, which is good news.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to get more of those. SCOTUS did uphold the Enemies Alien Act of 1798 for Trump so that he can deport these Venezuelan and MS-13 gang members without question, without a judge interfering with them.
That
So
is really good. That is
that's
really
good.
good.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good. Good for the country. Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
Mm.
are you familiar with a guy named John Yoo, uh, Jeff or
New.
Paul? He's a constitutional authority. He's an attorney. He's on several law schools. What do you call it? He's on
Faculty
their
boards.
he's on their boards or he's on their anyway. He's a Trump guy. Trump even asked him to be on the Supreme Court and he turned him down. But
Huh. What's
he's
his
got
name again, Don?
I think it's John Yu. Y-U. He's Korean.
Huh.
He was a Korean. He came here when he
Oh,
was
I
three
think I
months
have
old.
seen him on a
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
He just did
Yeah.
a video with the guy that hosts uh, Victor David Hansen because Victor David Hansen is
Yes.
under the weather right now.
Recovering. Yeah.
Yeah, you should watch that video because he talks about the tariff decision and he also talks about birthright citizenship and that decision, which is
What is he? I'm
his
very interested to know what he said about the tariffs because the tariff
what he
hasn't been
said.
decided yet, has it?
Yeah, no, they haven't announced
Okay.
anything. No, they keep postponing it.
John, President Trump has reminded Americans there is a thing called tariffs, and the Supreme Court held hearings on their constitutionality 3 months ago. They've not yet rendered a ruling of his use of an emergency law to impose tariffs, which we are, I think, we're required to call them as sweeping tariffs, whether his use of that law is constitutional. So, John, playing both sides here, would you give us the spitball, the rationale for, the rationale against, and explain, please, your own stand as a constitutional scholar as to the merits of the president's actions?
Well, the Constitution gives the power over tariffs and taxes to Congress. No one disputes that. Trump doesn't claim that he has the constitutional power to impose tariffs. The question is, Congress has given its power, and transferred it to the president very broadly in the trade area. And so the question is, did Congress give President Trump the ability to impose worldwide tariffs simultaneously on every country? That's the real question. And so the pro argument is there's a statute called IEPA, which I've heard you discuss on the podcast before. You guys did a great job reading the statutory language. It says, in a time of national emergency, the president, and this is Congress speaking, the president may, and then it gives a long list of powers involving international economics, which include the power to place a complete embargo on another country, to cease all traffic, all commerce with another country. if that country poses a national security threat. And so the pro side is, right, the president has said the size of the trade deficit is such a threat to our national security because we're losing the national industrial base. Other countries are, manipulating trade, particularly China, to try to reduce, to increase our dependency on them, to reduce our ability to make our own weapons, our own machinery, even grow our own food. And so because of that, the Trump administration has said, we're going to impose a tariff worldwide on all products to get that trade deficit down and to restore the American industrial base. And we're going to increase some more than others because those countries are really cheating at international trade, or the way they're manipulating trade, for example, in high-tech areas like rare earths, are harming our national security. So that's the pro side. The contrary side is, one, the trade deficit isn't a national emergency. The trade deficit has been with us roughly in the same size for the last 20 years. It may fluctuate up and down, but it really hasn't gone up. But more importantly, the trade deficit's not like an emergency like the kind we've had when we were attacked on 9/11, or when we've had the Iraq War, or when we've got this war going on with Venezuela. Second argument, then, is even if it's a national emergency, yes, the statute allows you to impose an embargo, but it doesn't say the word tariff. And if it doesn't say the word tariff, then the Supreme Court will say, we want to see the specific grant of tariff power. So look, I think this is a hard case, much harder than what many people might suggest in the media. Based on the oral arguments I heard, I listened to them pretty closely. I don't think the court's going to uphold the tariffs, but it's going to give President Trump the ability to go back and impose tariffs, but he has to do it country by country. So I think what they're going to say in the end is, we don't think the trade deficit worldwide is a sudden event or a national security threat by itself. What I think they're going to say is specific countries like China could be a national security threat. And then you can levy a tariff on China, but you got to say this is specific to China, what the number is going to be and why. Or against Mexico because of the drug trade, what is the specific tariff and why? So it's going to take Trump more time, and he's going to have to be more sensitive to the individual countries. But in the end, given I bet a year from now, we will have something similar to the tariff regime in place. It's just going to take Trump a little longer to do it. But the court's not going to say you can do it all at once, every country in the world simultaneously. That's the message I heard at oral argument last month.
Trump put tariffs on every country at once, just one big, or can he do them individually depending on the situation with that country? And he says that's what he thinks they're going to come down saying, no, you can't do all the world at once. You can't put tariffs on every country in the world at one time, but you can do them individually. Like China, he can tariff for fentanyl, and he can tariff Mexico for whatever drugs or whatever, that kind of thing. So that's what he thinks they're going to decide. But he said they wouldn't take those cases up unless there was disagreement among the judges themselves about the case, that some feel some way and some feel another way. So anyway, that was his kind of 10,000-foot view, my 10,000-foot view of his comments. But it's worth watching. Yeah, I just watched it this morning. So they're not going to. I'd
like to watch that. Yeah.
He says it's just going to stall Trump in doing what he wants to do, but it's just going to take him longer to do the tariffs that he wants to do, because he's going to have to go in country by country to do them, and not do them, not do a blanket tariff thing.
I mean, I think that would be a split the baby kind of decision, which I would applaud.
Yeah,
but
I think it would too.
But I know Thomas and Alito are struggling with this because At least I think they are, because they don't want to totally take the legs out from the executive.
Sure.
But
And they
at
don't
the
want to
same
have to
time,
repay the tariffs, right?
well, and I think they could come down and rule that since it was an undecided, in my mind, it is decided, though. I mean, Congress has the power, right? I've
Yeah,
already said
yeah,
that on this program a
yeah,
number of
yeah,
times.
yeah.
And other than emergency situations, where if you consider everything an emergency situation, I'm very against abuse of emergency powers by any executive authority. So, but I can understand why they would be reticent to really want to rule that way, because it's going to hurt him, and it's going to hurt not just the Trump administration, it's going to hurt the country.
Sure.
But at the same token, if I didn't speak out now and we get another Joe Biden back in and he wields similar power, do I want him to have that? And that's not just a no with a period, that's a explicative no with an exclamation point, and all the other funny cartoons that come along with that. And so to be consistent, I just think it's just been handled terrible. And I think they're postponing it because they know if they come out with the ruling that most of them probably want to come out with, that it's going to be devastating. And I think they're trying to figure out how can we split the baby. I really do. I think that's
Oh, yeah,
why.
I think so too. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I totally agree with you. So
The markets are
here, I
going to get
just,
crushed. Gold will go back up. Things will
yeah,
turn to mayhem. Yeah.
yeah. There's Ken Bennett. Oh, he's driving.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Oh, that's okay. How you doing?
Doing good. Had to go down to
Okay.
the Capitol and do a presentation for there's a group of Republican women in Arizona that it's called the Doty London Group. They educate about 20, 30 women every year. And they were doing a thing about Secretary of State's office and the state budget. So they had me come down and do that. And I'm on the road headed back to Prescott. I thought I'd be back in time to join you at the normal starting, but I'm sorry I'm jumping in real late here.
You're good. Did you do your shoe boxes?
I did.
Well, your
They are-
Amazon boxes, right?
Yeah, they're now Amazon shipping boxes, but the Kleenex boxes are too tall. There's one of the stacks. Ever since Obamacare, the stack for healthcare has gone from 10 billion to 30 billion.
Yeah, so that's too many boxes, right?
That's too many boxes.
So hey, you need to come down and present to Jeff's heirs of the Republic.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
Yes.
you sign him up for that, Jeff, because that's really a neat presentation. It's really
Ken, we definitely want to get you on schedule for that.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
yeah. They'll learn all about the Arizona budget, and he does it with Amazon boxes, so it's really cool. Yeah. Well, I saw it when it was shoe boxes, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you saw it when it was Kleenex boxes.
Kleenex boxes,
boxes.
right? Yeah,
Kleenex
Kleenex
boxes.
boxes. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
those
you
are about
came.
so those are about 4.5 inches tall. And so the healthcare stack, now that Obamacare has exploded to 30 billion in Arizona alone, the shoe boxes are now you got me calling them shoe boxes. The Kleenex boxes would be about 20 feet high. So I had to go to 2.5-inch Amazon shipping boxes so I could do the presentation
Yeah.
in more rooms than
Yeah. So you could reach the top.
yeah. Even with the Amazon shipping boxes, I hit the ceiling today in one of the hearing rooms at the House of Representatives.
Well, that's what's so great about that presentation. It makes such a
Visual
such an impact on the
impact.
people
Yeah.
seeing it. Yeah, it's just great. So yeah, it's unique. So
Yep.
I tell you, we need to do a videotape of that whole thing and put it up on YouTube. I have your old presentation on the when you came down to the Sarita Tea Party convention. You remember you presented it down there. Yeah.
Well,
So
back then the state money was about 12 or 13 billion, and the federal money was about the same.
yeah,
Now the state
yeah.
money is 23 billion, and with Obamacare, the federal money is 48 billion just on the Fed side.
There you
Total
go.
is 70, and then some local property tax money and stuff. It's $76 billion
Yeah.
every year.
Jeez.
Yeah. There you go. That's a lot of boxes.
So Ken, what do you attribute to that? Is it all the red tape? Is it just government getting involved? What do you think?
Well, government is too big, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But as far as the federal money, as I just tried to kind of describe quickly, it wasn't too long ago that all the federal money coming into the state of Arizona was less than $20 billion.
All of it.
The healthcare money that used to come to Arizona was about $6, and the state, or $6.5. The state spent about $3.5. The old Medicaid program before Obamacare was kind of on a $2 of federal money to $1 of state money. So the state of Arizona spent about $3.5 billion a year, and the federal Medicaid money was $6.5. So that one stack used to add up to about $10 billion between state and federal money. When Obama did Obamacare, in order to make it almost impossible for the states to not accept a huge expansion of money, but which many states probably would have done if it was just the 2-to-1 match, he made Obamacare a 10-to-1 match.
Jeez.
And so, for example, at the time, Jan Brewer was the governor. Andy Biggs, running for governor now, was the Senate president. And they both said, oh, we're not going to take this big expansion of federal government called Obamacare. We're just going to refuse to take it. And then they found out it was $10 of federal money to every $1 of state money. And they both caved in and said, okay, we'll take it. But now,
how can you not? I mean,
but that's why we have a $38 trillion national debt.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. And look what Minnesota's done.
The federal government collects $5 trillion a year, and they spend $7 trillion a year.
So what are we up to annually now for the same cost that was $10 billion? What are we up to again?
29, 35.
35 billion.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. There you go. And just look at Minnesota.
In about 15 years. About 15. And how much of that is fraud? Look at Minnesota, as you were saying, Doc.
Yeah.
How much large amounts of that money is just being piddled away.
Yeah.
Now we hear, I don't know if you guys heard, but did you hear about the Russian Armenian mob in LA's running a hospice fraud?
I'm sure of it.
Yeah. They've got what did they say? They had 200 hospice in a 1-block area where they trade from patient to patient. They hand them off to each other, and every time they hand off, they get another $4,000. So yeah, it's just.
Is that one of those Medicaid ambulances over your shoulder there, Don?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, before we sign off, Ken, I have to ask you a special question. So remind me before we stop. But go ahead.
Well, in Arizona, I had some people tell. I'm sure there's fraud going on in Arizona.
Yeah.
There were hundreds, if not thousands, of Native Americans enticed off of the reservation to come down to Phoenix so that businesses that claim to be providing them services could inflate their numbers. And there were hundreds of Native Americans that have disappeared off of the 21 reservations in Arizona and can nowhere to be found.
Wow. And nobody investigating that?
Oh yeah, they're trying to find that. But
good. Yeah. Yeah, that's, and I think I heard a little bit about that. And don't they think, is there suspicion that Hobbs was involved in that? Possibly.
agencies that she supervised. I don't know of any direct personal involvement that she had, but I do believe the pay to play investigation that's going on right now. You know, the Sunshine Residential Home in Mesa that gave her and the state Democrat Party $400,000 in campaign donations about 4 years ago. They were the only healthcare provider in Arizona that got an increase in their daily rate, a substantial, almost, I think, 30-40% increase in the daily rate. They've made millions of dollars back from the state of Arizona. And that rate increase that they got was just happened to be right after they donated $400,000 to the campaign.
That's a good,
and the state Democrat Party.
That's a good return on investment, right? ROI. Businessman, right?
Pretty sad.
So where are you at between? Are you close to Prescott or halfway or?
I'm on the backside of Prescott Valley.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, good. Yeah, you're almost home.
If I turn the phone around, you'd see Mingus Mountain.
There you go.
And it divides Yavapai County.
You got a pretty good connection since you're moving along the road there. So that's good.
Yep.
So we want to ask you before we hang up here, it's about I have 6:18. We got a little time, but I asked the guys when we came on, what kind of car did you drive in high school? That's the first question.
58 Ford pickup.
There you go. All right. 58
long bed, all black with the white spoke wheels that I put on it. I'm sure my grandpa was rolling over in his grave, but it looked cool to me.
Was that in the 70s or 80s? 70s?
I graduated high school in 77.
Okay, there you go. Well, 10 years before that, I had a 57 Ford. That was my car. And Jeff, tell him what you had.
Well, a 77 or 78 AMC Eagle.
Oh my.
It was up from a Pinto. He was just above a Pinto.
Just above the Pinto. That's right.
And Paul, again?
1955 Bel Air Chevrolet four-door sedan.
He had a classic, boy. Yeah, he was rolling, huh? So what would be your car if you could buy any car in the world, Ken? What would you like to own?
Shelby Cobra.
There you go. You sound like that. Yeah.
We
talked about those. Yeah, we talked about those. So very good. I put that picture on. I know you probably can't see it, but that's a Ferrari 308, and that Ferrari 308 was what Magnum PI used to drive. That's the car that I would like to own someday. So.
Well, I need to amend mine. I'm sorry. Before I die, I am going to own a flying car. From my driveway.
Ken? I was going to say that might be the cause of his demise, the flying car.
They're really going to town down here in Florida with flying cars. They're going to start flying taxi service out of the airports down here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Toyota invested $500 million in a flying taxi idea somewhere here in the U.S. that will taxi people in these major metropolitan areas like L.A. and Chicago from their home to the airports.
Ken, I want you to know I'm 35 years ahead of everybody on this because for my senior design project, before I got my aerospace engineering degree, me and 4 other senior engineers designed a car that you could drive up and then they put the wings on it and then you fly and take off and then you drop and then they take the wings off and drive around. So it wasn't the fan mechanism, but it was an actual, it really mirrored like the Cessna 172 with the struts.
Okay.
And So, yep, we did that for our senior design project, and we could definitely build it, back then, but it would have taken, what we wanted to do, we were competing for the best design in the senior design class. And what would be the easiest to just have a hub, and take the wings off and drive and fly away. And
Yeah.
but yep, that's a great idea, and it will come to pass at some point.
Oh
My,
yeah.
my
My
only,
vision, yeah.
I was going to say, my only concern is it's hard enough to get a pilot's license now. The expense of getting one, and the only flying cars I've seen seem to be priced around $250,000. And they may make them a little bit cheaper, but it's going to be tricky. And you can imagine the liability insurance that the builder is going to have to face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The last time I priced a Bonanza, mine cost $40,000, and the last time I priced one, it was $285,000.
Yeah.
And it didn't go any faster, and it didn't go any higher, and it
Yeah.
didn't carry anymore. It just cost that much money to build it and insure it for
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beechcraft.
Well, they have, and
So-
they have all those digital electronics now.
Yeah, but even
Oh,
that was only about a $10,000 difference between that and the
Yeah.
analog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was not the cost. The cost was labor intensive and insurance.
They have a
Yes.
company called Lift Aircraft that's building basically a flying car, right? That you can fly off your driveway. And you can come down here to an air show, which is in April down here, called the Sun and Fun Air Show in Lakeland, Florida. And they let you fly one of those. They put you
really?
in it, let you take off, fly up, fly down. So I'm going to do that. If they bring it back this year, I want to do that.
I'm going to own one before I die.
If somebody asks me,
If it's the reason for my demise, as Jeff or somebody said, that's fine with me.
next time they ask me if I'm a pilot, I'm going to say, yeah.
You and
I
you and
sure
George
am.
Jetson.
That's
you and
right.
George
That's
Jetson.
right.
Me and the Wright brothers, a 200-footer. That qualifies.
Well, the state of Arizona, a state senator out in Mesa, David Farnsworth, he got $2 million into the budget this year for the Arizona Department of Transportation to start planning on how it would integrate and allow for flying cars in Arizona.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
so
Good job. Yeah.
I think Arizona hopefully will be one of the leaders, and I want to
Well, you
own
got
one of those
yeah,
cars.
you got the perfect place because you got a big metropolitan airport in Phoenix that you could fly from all around Phoenix to that airport, right?
I
So,
want you
yeah.
to take off from your home and never have to go to the airport.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah,
I
that'd
want
be
I
nice.
want to go vertical from Prescott and 3 hours later land in Provo, Utah.
There you go. Oh, yeah. You want to go over and see their grandkids.
Yes.
Right. And give them a
That's
ride,
pretty
right?
cool.
Look what Grandpa brought. Look what you get
Yeah.
to ride. You would be a
Hey,
hit, boy.
Don,
Yeah,
before we shut down, I wanted to
Sure.
get everybody's opinion real quick
sure.
on the attorney general race on the Republican side here in Arizona. I guess you got Warren Peterson and Rodney Glassman running. And I was able to meet with
There's a
Rodney
third one, too.
Glassman. What's that?
There's a third one, Scott Roberg or something, but I think
Yeah, I
the
don't
race
think-
right now is between Glassman and Peterson.
You
Yeah,
know,
I think
Rodney
so.
Glassman is a former Democrat. Jeff, did you know that?
I did.
Former
did.
Democrat. Yeah.
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 Yeah, Ken knows a lot about I used to
So
get
is-
I used to get letters from Glassman all the time about raising money and stuff. We never met with him. He wanted to come down to Tucson and meet with Patty and I. We never did that, but this was years ago. Of course, we've been here for 5 years now. So, but Ken
you
knows a lot
probably know
about
both
Rodney.
of them.
Congressman,
Yeah,
our congressman in northern Arizona for a long time was a Democrat who changed parties to Republican. Bob Stump, one great Republican congressman for many years, represented West Phoenix and up into the north central part of Arizona, including Prescott. If it's a true conversion, and they really, support conservative Republicanism, I don't have a problem with it. Right now, I think I favor Glassman.
Yeah.
I know Peterson well too.
Warren Peterson is the head of he's the Senate president,
Senate
right?
president.
Yeah.
But he's never been really an attorney or practiced.
Right.
He got his law degree and license a couple of years ago, and I think Glassman is a colonel or lieutenant colonel with the JAG. He's in charge of the whole JAG operation out at Luke Air Force Base and the Army National Guard.
Yeah. Well, I was impressed with him in meeting with him yesterday, so I did want to get people's opinion. I do think it's a honest conversion, and but I think those are the two front runners. So I wanted to ask, but
yeah, well, he's definitely got more experience because, like Ken said, he told me last week Peterson just got his degree in law a couple of years ago, just for the purpose so he could run for attorney general, probably.
Yeah.
He's never practiced any kind of law, so Glassman's got way ahead of him on that. So I think you'd want somebody attorney general that had a little bit of law experience, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, that would be a key for me. So, okay, well, I'll let all you guys go. It's like I got 6:27 Florida time, so
all right, guys.
Thanks for being on. We appreciate it very much. Always fun talking to you guys and getting views from around the country. And Ken, you be safe. Thanks for chiming in when you did. It's good. We always need your input. And
sorry I was late.
I did listen Tuesday morning, as you know, but I told you I probably wouldn't, but I did. So anyway, didn't bring it up.
Thanks, guys.
You guys take care. God bless America, huh?
All right.
One more thought. I found an AMC Eagle for sale.
Yeah?
Yeah, for $5,000 if you want to, relive your youth.
There you go, Jeff.
I may consider that.
There you go. Okay, I'll get you guys in touch with my
yeah, please do.
With Patty's daughter's husband, because if you want to see Shelby Cobras, he's got them. So
I would love it.
These Mustangs, Shelby Mustangs. I'm sorry, Shelby Mustangs.
Yeah.
All right, take care, guys.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.